Hi, everyone. Welcome to Lazy Hype, where we talk all things wellness. Today, I have my lovely friend, Dr. Tara, here. She is a sex relationship expert, has a radio. She's on the radio. She has a podcast. Tell me everything else you do, because I'm like still trying to keep up.
Well, I would say I wear four hats for jobs. First is a professor. So I'm an associate professor at Cal State University Fullerton.
Wow.
And I teach sexual communication, relational communication, and quantitative research methods.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that's my full-time job.
Yeah.
And that's kind of have been my career and for my academic career. When I got tenure at 32, I was like, okay, this is kind of the pinnacle of my academic career. Like, what do I want to do after?
Yeah.
My students actually encouraged me to start social media and podcast. So about now, almost 4 years ago now, I started my podcast and social media to kind of go along with it. And that became very successful. So my second hat or job is like social media influencer. And then my third hat is media personality. So I'm on a radio show called Loveline, which was a really iconic radio show in the 90s and early 2000s with Dr. Drew.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm kind of the new Dr. Drew.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it.
Asian hot. Love it.
Thank you. Love the hot one, but thank you. Co-host and a sex expert on a reality TV show called Celebs Go Dating, which is a huge show in the UK. And I'm about to actually leave to go film my third season.
Ooh, congrats.
So thank you. So that's my other job. And then my fourth hat is a sex and relationship and dating coach. So I have my private practice and people can book their sessions. Right now it's full, but generally people can book their sessions, and I see my clients in person and online.
Wow. And also you're a daughter, a wife, a friend,
So many
everything
things.
else.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So backstory on meeting you.
Yeah.
I was actually very intimidated because I saw you you were speaking to somebody. You were at this art event and this guy happened to be somebody I dated a while ago. So I didn't want to go up and approach you, even though I had heard such amazing things about you, because for some reason I thought you were probably on a date or had something go right. And then later I see your beautiful ring and I'm like, oh, no, I'm going up to her. Literally never even said hi to the guy, even though I dated him, and went straight to you, chatted with you. And I was like, I have to get to know her more. Like, she's a vibe.
That's so funny because that art show was my husband's art show and not the guy that I was talking to who you dated. Yeah. So it's funny.
It is. But how do you keep like such like a sweet, like open demeanor? I'm sure people have inappropriate questions to ask you all the time. You're also an influencer and you stay very humble and like composed, which is amazing to see in a person, because some people can be, a little closed off, but you stay authentic. So how do you do that?
Well, I think a lot of it came from lessons from my parents. Objectively speaking, I have very successful parents successful in their career, probably not super successful in their personal goals, but in their careers, they're really successful. And I remember growing up that my parents have always been like surrounded by friends and people that love them. And, there's always been like parties and gatherings and people always talk glowingly about my dad and my mom. And so for me, like watching that and watching them stay super humble, very friendly, personable to everyone, even though they both ran different companies, it was like learning through my role models.
Oh, that's
and I think
amazing.
it's just ingrained in me to never be a bitch.
Yeah, no,
I can be
true.
bitchy, but I'm never a bitch. Like,
that's amazing.
I'm the kind of person that always want to treat everyone the same way, whether they, own private jets or if they're cleaning toilets at my school.
Oh, wow.
I pride myself for that I would never change.
I love that. How do you establish boundaries with people?
For questions?
For anything, right? I think you advocate like this like woman empowerment with like what you do, everything that's like 4 jobs basically on top of everything else, right? Staying humble and balanced and kind. That's a lot.
Yeah.
This is hard. I love
Yeah.
being kind. I do. But sometimes you're overwhelmed. You may need a little snap.
Right.
How do you establish those boundaries so you don't snap?
I say no to a lot of things. I am a huge believer of that the fact that my body tells me things and being very mindful about how my body is feeling in different scenarios. So if I'm talking to a person that, let's say, want me to do a brand deal with them, but my body is viscerally against that person,
Yeah.
it's like, ooh, something's not right. I trust my body 100% and I will say no to that deal because my body tells me so. And even if my brain's like, girl, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But my body tells me this is not right.
I love this.
And it's been a long time, like training this relationship.
How did you train that? And what are those signs? How do you know?
Ooh, so I don't think I trained it consciously, but throughout my lifetime, like for example, when I got married to my first husband, it didn't feel great in my stomach.
Okay.
And I just thought like, no, like, because my brain was making decisions and my brain was like, okay, he's tall, handsome, rich, you get married to him. Like, right? Like there's nothing else you need to care about. Like, you know, here, check all the boxes, just get married. Like that's my brain telling me that's a good match. My body knew that's not a good match based on chemistry, like just natural chemistry, but I didn't trust it. And so that was my first big lesson going through that divorce and like how harsh it felt in my body. It was terrible. I woke up screaming and crying for 2 weeks straight after the divorce. I have had a few failed business ventures and ideas and deals that looking back, I'm like, oh, my body was telling me when we started, like, this guy is not a good person to work with. But I didn't trust it because my brain was like, okay, this is a good deal. It's a lot of money. Like, I should push through. And so my consistent lessons have now taught me like how important it is to really dial in to how I feel. And to your question, where do I notice it? It's my stomach.
Oh, your
like
roots.
my tummy. Yeah. My tummy and my chest. If I have a bad feeling about a person or behind a brand or behind a deal, like my chest will be like tight and then my stomach will kind of growl. And I have now noticed it quite a few times and I have said no to all